Excellent. So we are here to call all builders. And I think based on our responses to the polls, we've got quite a few Lego enthusiasts who are part of this crowd, and we can't wait to share this unique and innovative way to do virtual programming, but in real life in your libraries. And as someone who participated in kind of the inaugural Lego building challenge at the Lewis and Clark Public Library this last year, I'm so excited for more of you to learn about this model and for Jen to be able to share all of the great things that come out of this type of programming. So with that, Jen, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
My name is Jennifer Birnel. I'm the director of the Montana History Portal. And what we did a year ago in Lewis and Clark Public Library is it was a year ago in November, we hosted what we called the Montana History Lego Challenge. And it was a pilot project. We wanted to see how it would go over, if it was something that other libraries could emulate. And we had hoped to continue to grow it and expand it. So this is the first layer of expansion, is that we're rolling it out to you as a virtual trunk, which I'll talk more about in a minute. And I want to go through that virtual trunk with you today. I want to walk you through the virtual trunk, give you a demo of the materials there, and we'll review all of the materials that are available to you. And then I'd love to hear from you, your questions and your suggestions at the end of the session today. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to actually walk you through how to get to the page. You should be seeing the home page for the State Library right now. Okay, so I went to Services, Libraries, and clicked on Lifelong Learning to take me to this page. And you're going to see a section called Virtual Trunks. And when you click on it, there is one virtual trunk so far, although I know, Bobby, you click on the Montana History Portal Lego Challenge. And in this section is where we're going to get to all of the things. And we're going to start on the Getting Started page. The first thing I'm going to open is actually the second thing in your list. It's the event flowchart, because I think this does a good job of defining what this thing is. It is a contest where you have actually two options. You can build at home or you can build on site. And I'm hoping you will host the same type of contest. And contests who build at home use their own Legos, and they bring that into the library on the day of the event for judging. Contestants who don't have Legos and want to build on site use the library's Legos and come in and build at the library the day of the event. We divided that at Lewis and Clark Public Library into two sessions because we had pre-registration for the event itself, and we knew kind of how many kids were coming, and divided them into two time slots, which they selected themselves, which one worked better for them. They were 45 minutes long. Kids came in, they were given a bucket of Legos, or container Legos. They had 45 minutes to build something they wanted to build with those Legos. And of course, they could trade and share in the room with the other people who are building at the time. And then they have to take it out and put it on the judging table to be judged. Those are judged separately from the build at home, because we feel like those that build at home have more time. They're going to build and rebuild and do some different things, where those that build on site, it's a very quick build. During the day itself, we can do several activities. So what we did at Lewis and Clark Public Library is we invited some of our master builders to come in and display some of their builds. So Dave Colomaria, who used to be an employee of the State Library and my partner at the History Portal, has a couple of really massive builds. He has a copper mine that he built specifically for this event, as well as two huge naval ships that he built for previous events that he shared and had on display for the kids to look at, which was really cool. We also did a scavenger hunt in his mine. So we had a list of questions for things for kids to find in that mine build. And then they submitted that, and that became a drawing for a prize. The other master builder we had was Brendan Eason out of Chinook. He brought in his complete build of the Chinook Park and Pool, which was part of a fundraising activity to rebuild the old pool in Chinook. So we had that going on. You could do a coloring activity or craft. We could be showing a Lego movie. There's all kinds of things you could do that day to kind of make the day an event, not just the bring it in and be judged portion. So if I go back to the Getting Started page, there's an event guide and there's an event checklist. So the event guide is just kind of, here it is. Here's what we suggest. here's how we encourage you to run the challenge. Some suggestions for just how to make it run smoothly. We suggest that you have event registration before the day of the event, that kids say, I am going to be there and I'm going to bring in my Lego event thing from building at home, or I'm going to sign up to build on site. And we have hyperlinked suggested registration questions, which I'll show you in a moment. We suggest how you set up the room, how you head up the judging, how you handle the entry forms and score tally sheets, all things I will show you as we go on today. What you'll need for the build on site, what you'll need for judging, and the people's choice, if you want to do that, is an optional portion of the day or part of the activities, which we did at Lewis and Clark. We asked people to vote for their favorite thing. I will warn you, we were flooded with voting tickets that we had to then count quickly, and you will need lots of people to count forms if you're going to do this. It does take time. You're going to need some prizes to give to the winners. We did very simple prizes. We did $12 Lego kits for each age group. And you'll see in a moment, I've divided this into 4 age groups for voting. I suggest that you have comment cards on hand for people to make comments during the day to tell you how things went. And I will also, at the end of the event, ask you that you complete an evaluation of your event so that we know that you did it, for one thing, at the State Library, and then how it went for you and any suggestions you have for a future event. So this is just kind of a breakdown of everything that you will need to run the event. If I go back to the Getting Started page, the other thing that we've provided for you is an event checklist. And this is actually the step-by-step event checklist for how to run the event, what you'll need to prepare, setting the date and marketing, seeking volunteers, including that score tallying, which you'll need a few people for. Calais, were you one of my counters? I think you were.
I was.
We only had a couple people counting, and it was fast and furious, wasn't it?
It was very fast and
It takes
furious,
some time.
but it was the energy and the people, like all of the age ranges of the participants. It just was one of the best things that I've experienced in the last year.
We've also created some forms that will hopefully make it easier to score, including some tally sheets, which I'll go over. There's winner certificates for each age group, which are already created for you if you want to use them. I also have things like do not touch table tents, so they remind your visitors not to touch the builds because they do fall apart. I did break one last year. I was able to get the child to come back and fix it, but it is easy to break things. So day of event reminders. So there's just all of the things you need are in this checklist for before, during, and after. If I go back to the getting started, we also have the process and rules template. This is the thing that you will share publicly. So I'm going to jump over to that. This is just the rules for the contest. Gives you because this is a PDF document, I've made it so it's fillable and you can fill in what participants will need to do to register, whether that's a URL link where you're having them register online or fill out a form at your desk, front desk at the library. There's other fillable forms on this document for the times of day and when things need to be in place for judging, and you can enter those here. There's also some information about how you will be how the build on site categories are built and the build on home categories are built, and the prizes for each age group, a place for you to stick in sponsor logos if you have prize sponsors from your community, which we recommend if you need help getting prizes, if your foundation can't help you or something like that. And then there's a whole section on ideas for builds, and these are just pictures. So when you click on this, it takes you right to the history portal, and it gives you all of these wonderful photos of things to be built with Legos that you could use for the contest. So it just gives you a jumping point of where to start for looking for historic photos to build. So this document is kind of all the rules, all the processes, and again, fill in the blanks so that you can set it up for your contest. The event registration form template is just that. It's a template, and I don't know if I have that one open actually. It's a template so that kids can register beforehand is just a document that allows them to enter their name, which age group they're in, their phone, address, which contest they're building in, and which time slot you would attend for Build on Site. Of course, I have put in these times, 10 a.m. to 10:45 and 11 to 11:45, because it's what we did at Lewis and Clark last year. This is something you would change. This is just a template for you to use as a guideline for how you would have your registration set up. If I go back, then we also have entry forms, and those are different. The date of the event, there's one for each age group. What we did, and thankfully Lewis and Clark Library thought of this, they printed each age group on a different color of paper so that we knew the 5 to 8-year-olds were blue and the 9 to 13-year-olds were yellow, and so on, so we could group things really quickly. Those pages, if I open the 5 to 8-year-old on-site entry, it's just got a contest number already on it. They have to tell you if they have a photo included. They have to pick a photo from the history portal, but we've asked them to print that photo if they can, or to come to the library and print that photo so that it can sit next to the item as it's being judged. It's just really helpful for the judges to have a frame of reference to look at. If they don't have one, you may think about having a spot ready to help kids print photos the day of. Most kids did great at following the directions and coming in with the printed photo already. They should title their build. Just give it a quick title, and they should tell us everything they want the judges to know about their build, what they built and why they built it, what they focused on, that kind of thing. Kind of a description. You will notice that there are 26 pages to this document. That's because there are 2 per page. So we have 2000 and 2001. And we have a back side. You're going to want to print this front to back so that name of contestant for both of these cards is on the back of this card, so that when they place their item on the judges table, they're going to put their build, their contestant card, and their photo together as a group on their age appropriate table, and that will be face up with this information and their name on the back so that the judges don't see that. We know in especially small towns, everybody kind of knows everybody, and we didn't want there to be any biased judging happening. And so you'll notice this goes through 25 entries for the 5 to 8 age group. If you do pre-registration, you won't have to print all these pages. When you do a print, you can say front to back and pages 1 through 10 so that you get enough. And if you need to add more, you can certainly add more. The next thing I had on this page here was the comment cards template. And this is just that. It was just a way for people to quickly give us some feedback. We did not have this at Lewis and Clark Public Library, but we had a lot of people ask us. They told us over and all over it was the best day, it was the best event. They really loved it, and they wanted to write a note to say thank you and to encourage us to do it again. So we provided this comment card template. We're hoping that you'll hold these in the fall. So it does say Challenge 2024. If you need me to update this document to 2025, if you plan to hold it in January or February or something like that, we can certainly update this document. So that's the getting started. I'm going to pause. Anybody have any questions yet, Calais?
Not yet, but if you have questions, this is a really good time to put those in there. Kelly's asking now, did you limit how many could participate?
Yeah, that's a great question. When we did our initial registration, Lewis and Clark Public Library had a registration form online. They use a registration tool, and we could limit, and we could say if the limit had been reached within that tool. And so because we were limited on space in their large meeting room, which is where we held the judging, we knew we could only take so many items. We ended up with 43 participants, 18 from the build at home, I believe, and 23 on the build on site. So just to kind of give you an idea how many kids participated in Helena that day. We also knew that for the build on site sessions, the max they could hold in their building room, because they had a separate room where the kids came in and built their build on site ones, was 15 at a time. And most of those had filled up. We had a few spaces in each session, but that was it left. So it's a great question.
Yeah, you answered the other question, which was how many attended the event. And I would
Yeah.
say, I mean, the participants, you said it was 43 altogether,
Yeah.
but with parents and, caregivers or
Grandparents.
grandmas and grandpas and people who were spectators, it was, I think, well over 100 people who,
I was guessing close to 150. I had a counter and I was trying to count people as they came in, but we were real close to 150, I think, that day.
yeah. Yes, I think
So it
that's
was a lot of people.
good to be aware of that and be thinking about, just how many people you
Space requirements.
accommodate, right? And how many
Right.
people the fire marshal will allow you to have in your building. Um,
Yeah, and that was another thing that we talked about is if we were to hold this again as it grew, we did hit the max basically in the Lewis and Clark Public Library is what other places could we host this event? And you may want to think about that in your community if you get a good response. Public schools might partner with you to do it in their gym on a day when there isn't sports activities going on. Um, Community centers might be another place. So you may have to really think about where else you might hold it if you feel like you might overload your library space.
there's another question. I don't know if this is something that will come up in the next parts that you're going to share, but what was the size of the bucket for build on-site Legos? So
So
Diane, you
that's a
might have
great
to
question.
clarify that a little bit, but
Yeah, so Lewis and Clark Public Library had these little bins, and I don't know, they were probably like the shoebox style bin that was filled with Legos for the kids to build on site. And like I said, once they were in the room, if they didn't have the Lego they wanted, they were sharing and trading, but it gave them something to start with. It was just a bucket. And we didn't count out pieces or anything like that. They just had their bin they took back to their spot and they kind of sat in like a classroom setting and then built at their spot what they were going to build. Um, and if they needed more Legos or needed to trade or do things like that, they could. Does that kind of sum it up, Clay? You were there most of the day more than
uh,
I was in that section.
yeah, no, that sounds exactly right.
Yeah,
And that was part of another question. There were no themed sets or anything like that. It was just the
just
Lego,
Legos.
a
Yep.
variety of Legos. And then Sherry's
And if you
asking
read,
about, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, if you read the rules, it is against the rules to use a kit. We want them to build their own thing and to model it after a picture they find on the history portal. And I'll show you some examples.
Mhm.
Okay,
Um,
sorry.
And then the other question is about time of day. And so, with judges and helpers in that, we showed up a little bit before 8 or about 8 o'clock in the morning, if I remember correctly. And then Jennifer, can you just
Actually, I
repeat?
think it was a little later. I think it was 10 because the library didn't open till 10. And we did
Oh,
our first session, I think from 10:15 to 11, and our second session from 11:15 to noon. And we asked, or somewhere in there, and then we asked to have all of the items in place by 1. I asked the judges to get there about a half hour before so that they were there and I could go over the judging materials with them. And we judged at 1 and we gave prizes at 2. All right, so in that event guidelines and checklist, you're going to see some ideas for marketing, and I've also created some templates so that you don't have to recreate them if you don't have the time or wherewithal to do that. So in my handouts or downloads up here, one of the things I've created is a Facebook header. I tried to size this so it would show up at the top of a page as a header image. It may need a little resizing. I think you can right click on this once you've saved it and saved it as an image and then resize the image. But I have also a fillable so you can enter the name of your library and what day the contest is going to be held. So these are both typable fields on this, and then you can save it again and then, like I said, resize as needed to upload as a Facebook banner or header on your page. I've also made one for social media that looks very similar. Again, it's a fillable document, so you can click in here and add your library name and the deadline for when things are due. And I made one more that is a poster. I gotta scroll down for you to see this. Again, fillable spot for your library name, the date and the time of the event, and at the bottom here is just you choose a picture and then you build it. And you can see this is one of our winners. This was an adult build. They chose a picture of the bridge over the Yellowstone River, and this is their build of that picture. We had phenomenal entries. This happens to be an adult, but our other winners were just as incredible. So expect high quality things because they really surprised me. Some of the other signage we had was just a welcome sign. Here's where you register on the day of with that's the entry form, not the pre-registration. We wanted everybody to stop there, fill out the entry form, let us record on the tally sheet, which I'll talk about their name and the name of their build, and then take it to the appropriate table from there. And that was how they entered the room. We also had the do not touch tents, as I mentioned. Again, these are set as table tents. So you would print these, cut it down the middle this way, fold it in half so that it shows on both sides, and you could set them out along the tables so people didn't touch and mess with the builds. And then the last one was the on-site session, and this is a typable form. So you could put in the time and place in which session number, session 1, session 2, however many sessions you feel like you need to accommodate the kids and the Legos. This does take a lot of Legos, so if your library doesn't have a lot of Legos, this might be the time to start thinking about where you would accumulate a bunch of different Legos to do that. So if I go back to, oops, excuse me, wrong page. Those were all of the marketing tools that are here that you can download. I'm going to hit the back arrow because now we're going to talk about the judging tools. So what I did in the Lewis and Clark one is I invited 3 judges to come. Bobby pointed me to one that we knew about. We used a board member and from the state library and a board member from the Lewis and Clark Public Library, as well as we ended up with 4 judges. Brandon Neeson, who was one of our master builders who demonstrated the Chinook pool and park, he also was a judge. So we had 4 judges walk around with the rubric, and I have the rubric open. If I can find the right tab, there we go. It's basically just like a school student rubric. You're judging it on creativity, the interpretation and completeness, and the visual impact. And they would just go through and circle for each one. They would put in the number, which is right off the entry form that we looked at earlier. Get my right document open. So right off the entry form is the contestant number. So they would write that on the rubric right here and then score it and then the total score. And then they would hand that back after they've scored. One of the things I didn't do was have them judge by age group side by side. And what we learned is that they were jumping around from the different age groups and then trying to remember which age groups they'd looked at and how to compare them against each other to pick a winner in that age group. So I would recommend having an 5 to 8 build table, a 9 to 12 table, a 13 to 18 table, and an adult table, so that the builds for each age group are grouped together so that they're judging all the 5 to 8-year-olds first. Once they finish an age group, I would also recommend they hand you their tally sheets for that age group so somebody can tally those scores really quickly, which is something we didn't do at the last one. And we had this stack of cards, 4 judges, 43 entries, all came in at once, and then we were trying to tally them. So what we did this time is we built a tally sheet for you to print. Again, I recommend that when they come in and enter, to fill out their entry form, that you record their entry name and their build title next to their contestant number. And then as the scores come in, you record the score and you can add a total much more quickly that way. Since the scores are just out of a max of 12 points, it's not too hard to add up and figure out what their total score is from there. And then we did have ties. So what we did at that point is I just gave them, all the judges, another rubric and said, I need you to judge these 2 that have tied again. And we'll take the top winner from your new scores, just judging the 2 against each other. And that seemed to work. So that was how we managed the ties in that. So if you print this ahead of time, as they walk in, you record their name and information, and then as the judges finish that age group, they hand you, and it says right on each tally sheet, the age group. So if I go back to this page, you'll have a form, a tally sheet for each age group here for both the build on site and built at home. So you'll have multiple sheets that you're working off of to record. I recommend 3 judges. I think 4 was a little over the top. We just happened to have 4 come that day, and we're happy to use them. But you know, you can decide how many judges you really need, if 3 or 4 or whatever it works for you. The last page, well, nope, I'm going to scroll down here because at the bottom of this is also the certificates for your winners. So we had best and runner up. We gave first and second prize. Um, the best were the $12 kits. The runner ups, we had like $8 kits that we were giving out prizes for of Legos. So they were the prepackaged kits that's what we chose to give as prizes. We also, for People's Choice Awards, threw in a big Lego build book that showed kids how to build things that the Lewis and Clark Library Friends of the Lewis and Clark Library bought for us for those prizes. So those are all here, and if you click on them again, they're just a fillable PDF, so you can open one of those and then type in the winner's name and the date and your library name within this fillable PDF and print those so you have certificates ready to hand to each winner. So we wrote in the names by hand. You could fill out on this day and at our library ahead of time and then handwrite in the awarded to here, unless you have a computer set up ready to type those in and hit print the day of, which is also an option. And I'm going to go back one more button. The activities, the day of, we decided we really wanted to make this like an event, and we wanted kids to come and kind of hang out and do some things. We didn't have the space to do coloring pages and stuff like that, and I wish we had, because we had a lot of younger siblings. So we'd have 5 to 8-year-olds with 4 and 5-year-old siblings who either chose not to participate or were too young to participate. And having a spot where they could go and color, it would have been great also for those kids that came and camped. A lot of families dropped their thing off first thing in the morning, especially for the build at home, and left. There were a lot of kids that didn't. They hung out and they were just patiently waiting all day. We just didn't have any really good ways to engage them and keep them engaged all day. So they wandered around and they looked at the different builds, and they wandered through the master builds, and they did the scavenger hunt, and then there was nothing left. I did have a historical images slideshow playing, and I have it here. You can download it. But if you really want to get ambitious, I have a whole Pinterest board set up of Lego activities where you could build crafts. You could, again, you need the space, you need the time, you need people. But that day, while the building sessions are going on, while the judges are judging, there would be some things going on with it. It just depends on how ambitious and how much space and time and wherewithal you have. But I've given you several suggestions here for things you could do. And again, these are just downloadable PDF forms, and then a link to this Pinterest board with all kinds of different activities you could do the day of the event, because we wanted to make it as fun and engaging as we could, like I said. So that's kind of an overview of all the things in the trunk and what we did. At this point, I'd really like to open it up to any of your questions about things that you're going, how the heck did you do that? Or why did you do it that way? And any suggestions that you think you might feel you need to pull this type of an event off in your library.
Yeah, there were a couple of questions that I kind of tried to answer, but I want to just kind of call those out for the good of everybody. How did we allow caregivers to assist younger age groups, or are there rules in the competition about allowing caregivers or others to assist?
So that's a good question. We didn't do that with the build at home, the 5 to 8-year-old group. We know parents were going to help, and they did. So we didn't do much to limit that. We talked about it with the judges. The judges said they would take that into consideration, but for the most part, it wasn't an issue. With the build on site, program, the youth program person was on site that day, and she helped with questions on building. But to be honest, the kids just came in and built. I didn't see like there was a huge need for a lot of assistance or help. Most of them had picked a picture before they came in that they wanted to build, and they had something in mind they were going to build, and they did it. Because of Lego disparity with the build at home, we had one little girl in that 5 to 8 age group, and she brought in this little tiny building. She whispers to me as she registered, "I'm so sorry, it's so small, but these are all the Legos I have." And she had built a mercantile, and it was the cutest little thing. She did such a great job for having very few Legos. Um, of course, it wasn't one of our winners, but it was just really impressive to me that she tried, and she tried with her limited set of Legos. And again, that's one of the reasons we offered the build on site is we didn't want anyone to be feeling left out, even if they didn't have any Legos at home.
And just from what I observed, really, the kids, well, all of the people who were involved in the on-site builds were very serious. The kids were, like Jen said, they had brought their pictures ahead of time. I think there was maybe one person who hadn't, but quickly got the picture, got it printed and then was able to go. But uh, the Lego building community is quite serious about competition and also just, really wanting to do a good job. So it's pretty magic to see that seriousness, but that creativity, and then the support of people around, not necessarily helping on site with the build to, or giving little nods or suggestions. Like really, like the people who were really building and focused on trying to do the best representation of the photo that they had chosen. Let's see here.
If you want to see the pictures, I'm just still showing my screen to show you that the 2023 Lego Challenge collection is on the history portal. So if you click on the collections tab at the top of the homepage and then scroll down, you will see it, as well as our other contests are listed here. But this will open a landing page, which will take you to see the images from that day, and they're kind of grouped. And the other suggestion that's in our event guidelines is to have different colored tablecloths for build at home versus build on site, as well as the age group tables. And you will see when you look at these photos that they have, I'm going to open this. It's going to take a minute to open because I'm on a very slow Wi-Fi connection today. So we'll let that old open, and then I'll show you some of these pictures. But we had all the build at home on a blue tablecloth and all of the build on site on a red tablecloth, so we could quickly differentiate between the two. And you can see that difference when you look at these photos. I'm sorry, Clay, go on. We'll
No,
wait for this to load.
There was a question, does the grand prize Lego build at each site advance to a state Lego competition? Diane, that's a really great question.
That's
It's
the
kind of going to
goal.
break our heart,
I'm
but
so glad you asked.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. I told you we're kind of growing this in increments. My hope was that we would do that even this year. Um, Unfortunately, Dave, my colleague, took a position at the Historical Society, and right now we're leaving his position open for vacancy savings. And with just me on the History Portal staff, I didn't feel like I had the wherewithal to run a state Lego contest this year. So this is kind of the second phase of the pilot where I pushed it out to you all to try to run your own local challenges, and that it will end there this year. But I hope in next year, in that 25-26 season, we would have a state contest, and then the winners would advance to the state contest. We would hold it in Helena. I'm hoping at the new Historical Society building, the new Heritage Center, in their big event room. It's a beautiful building. It's a great place to host this state event. And then they would be judged a second time for overall state winners. So I'm really glad you asked that question. It is something we really want to do. I just couldn't pull it off yet this year, but that is the eventual goal, is to continue to build this. So I mentioned earlier there's an evaluation form for you to fill out after you host a Lego challenge, if you choose to host one. It's going to be really important, because if I find out that most libraries choose not to do this and we don't have participants, then it's going to be harder for me to make a case to hold a state Lego contest, which is my hope, is that all these winners at local contests would advance to the state contest.
We do have another question. Did you partner with any other entities in the community, like Lego groups or retail stores or anything like that?
We reached out to a few for gifts. We didn't get great responses back. A part of that was just we were pulling it together very quickly, I think, and we didn't leave enough lead time. I would highly recommend that you reach out to some of your local businesses, especially if they carry Lego products, to share and to donate prizes. Um, we worked with the Lewis and Clark Public Library because they do have an after-school Lego program, and they, ahead of this event, really pushed it to their Lego Challenge kids, their Lego builders, and encouraged them to pick a picture, showed them how, gave them those instructions with the links to the different types of pictures that they could build. So kids really responded to that and did a great job of kind of promoting for us, and of course, they were our main partner in that. So I wanted to share, this is just a picture of the build on site. This gives you an idea of the size of the totes that Lewis and Clark has for their builders club, including the square, the big square that they build their build on. They are fortunate to have that kind of a setup where they can give each kid this big tote of Legos and then let the kids do the build on site. And you can see this little guy has his photo laying right here, ready to build on his green mat, and this one has a blue mat, the Lego pad to build on.
And I would say those are really important, especially if people have to pick up and carry the build on site
Yes.
creations to the judging area or a place where they're going to be displayed. That's really helpful.
I mentioned the prizes, so we had these different Lego sets, just kind of all piled up here the day of, as well as that Lego Ideas book that was donated by the Friends of the Lewis and Clark Public Library organization. So those were all parts of our prizes that we gave. I'm going to open a couple more of these photos so you could see the winners. There were all kinds of great things that came out of this. We tried to take a picture of each build. These were the master builder displays that were really amazing. This was some of the build on site. On the red table, there was the fire tower in Helena. This was a winner. So this was a Bannock, just kind of a rebuild of the community of Bannock. And I want to jump to the build to page 2 of this because you'll see the built at home winners as we get through here. The Gilman Ferry was 12 to 13-year-olds. Kids built the ferry. It was incredible. Just some really great builds. This was the 5 to 8-year-old winner, though. Did this kid probably have help? This is why I wanted to bring this up. Maybe, but it's an incredible build, and we have pictures of it from different angles, and we included these on the history portal so that you guys would have some examples to look at. And you could see on the table his fire tower picture that he found on the history portal site, and then his replica of that. And if I hit this little button here, you can see it full screen. Oops. So we can zoom in and see the details.
Sherry was asking, how did you determine the number of prizes needed? And yes, the prizes
So if I
were
go
purchased
back
in
to
advance.
that, yes, they were. So if I go, I'm going to hit the back arrow here. Under the judges tools, you'll see our age groups by tally form. So I needed a first place and a runner up for each age group. So I needed 8 for the build at home and 8 more for the build on site. So that's 16. And then we did do a People's Choice Award for each age group, which we decided was overkill because the kids that voted for the exact same winners that the judges voted for. So if you do a People's Choice Award, I would do it for one for all of the age groups and just have one People's Choice Award for the day rather than each age group. We actually had them score for each age group for People's Choice, and we decided that was just too much. But these were everything is broken down on the page by age groups, and we have first and second place is what we did. Best overall and runner up, basically. So 2 prizes per age group. And if you choose, then 1 more for a People's Choice Award if you want the people to vote.
And we did have participants from all of the groups that were planned.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and multiple. I think maybe the only one that had 1 or 2 entries was in the adults on
Yeah,
site.
I think we had 3 at-home adult builds. I think it was 3 or 4. And on site, we only had 2. And it was a married couple that came in together that day and did it. So
They were so cute.
they
They were
were.
so sweet. Um, yeah, and thank you. A couple of you have shared legolibrarian.com and then another contact information for the Good Lego Idea site. So thank you for putting those into the chat. When I put together kind of our information handout for after this session, I'll make sure that I add those links to kind of the summary of what we did today. Other
And
questions?
if you do take photos of your builds, we can make a 2024 collection for the winners from the various towns and post them online. It's not the same as seeing them in person. For example, the Gilman Ferry is very detailed and it's hard to see it um, in a photo and get this full scope. It's still loading, so I apologize. It's a little blurry, but he actually had the chain. He had the horse on the ferry itself. He had the guys pulling it across. It doesn't quite do it justice to see it in pictures, but we would love to have photos of your winners. And again, I could do a collection of the 2024 Lego Challenge winners.
Oh, Diane's just mentioning that weather is definitely a factor in setting a date. She is planning to come to Helena and wasn't able to because of the icy roads that day. So yes.
Yeah, having a state event, we realized we did it in early December actually, and we decided that if we were to do this again, we would ask for everyone to do their events early fall, September, October, and we would host our event early November, like that first week in November as the state event. I'm open to suggestions on time of year. I know everybody gets busy. It's hard, but so we were thinking, well, summer reading or summer reading programs are over, early fall. Those after school kids that are coming into your libraries, this might be a good project to task them with right away. And then we would have a little bit earlier time frame to do the state event. But yes, the weather always plays a role. And we figured if we did it over the summer, we would lose kids. We wouldn't have enough participants. So the other option is to hold it after the first of the year. But again, we run into those late spring storms, and so it's hard to say. But I'm open to suggestions.
And I did steal the screen back a little bit so our folks have your contact information, Jen.
Yeah, I'm going
And
to stop
so
sharing. Oh, you
do,
did stop my sharing.
yeah,
Okay,
no,
awesome.
do reach out to Jen, and she is a mighty, mighty team of one with managing all of the aspects of the Montana History Portal. But as you can tell, just having the experience that we did in this last year, it's a really wonderful program and well worth all of the time and effort. Having good partners in your local library, and then in terms of venues and that, looking for those places that are big enough to potentially, host an event like this that I think is guaranteed to garner a lot of participation and excitement too. It's something for everyone. And definitely because of the kind of the nostalgia and just the love of Lego that many of us have, it's really bound to be a great success for your library as well. And I'm gonna
I
go ahead, Jen.
pulled together all the I pulled together all the comments from our Lewis and Clark activity, and it was really wonderful to hear all the people say this was a great event. It pulled multi-generations together because the grandparents loved the history photos. The parents loved the history photos. They loved that their kid dug into history and looked up more information on the picture they chose. So there was some fabulous comments that came out of this event too. So I just wanted to share that. That's all I have. I appreciate very much that you came out today. I hope that you will host a Lego challenge in your building, in your library or your community, and that they will share how it went with the evaluation form that's in the event details.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jen. And we look forward to getting the 2025 state competition potentially
Yes.
underway. If we can do that, that would
At
be
the new
awesome.
Heritage Center even. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Thanks so much.